Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this meeting of the Scrutiny Value for Money Council Committee on Wednesday, the 15th of January 2025. Before I start, may I remind everyone present that this meeting is being broadcast live via YouTube, and the recording will be archived for future viewings. Could all councillors and officers ensure that when they speak, they switch their microphones on, and when they have finished speaking, switch the microphones off. This is extremely important for the live stream to ensure that the cameras will be focused on the individuals who are speaking. Thank you. We'll go straight to the agenda. Item 1, to receive any apologies for absence. Have we?
Thank you, Chair. We've received no apologies. We've got a fully present committee.
Thank you very much indeed, Daniel. On to item 2, declarations of interest. Do any councillors have any declarations of interest to declare on the items under discussion at this evening's meeting? None? Good, thank you. Item 3, to consider any urgent business brought forward to the meeting under Rule 12. I'm not aware of any urgent business for consideration at this meeting. Item 4, questions from the public. Again, we have not received any questions from members of the public. In terms of item 5, questions from members of the committee. We've not received any questions from members of the committee. Item 6, public minutes of the previous meeting on the 2nd of October 2024. I propose the approval of the public minutes from the previous meeting. Do I have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor P. Krupski. We will now go to the vote. All those for? Any against? Any abstentions? Thank you. The vote is carried. Item 7, Scrutiny Review Programme Update. I'd like to invite Sean to provide an update for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. So, in October 2024, the committee agreed to undertake a review regarding the value for money of the Civic Function Suite at Burton Town Hall. All members of the committee are currently taking part in this review, and as such, no subgroup has been set up. On Thursday, the 7th of November 2024, a Zoom meeting was organised for the committee, where the Chair discussed the scoping paper in detail and allocated tasks to committee members. These were then confirmed via email to all members. Following this initial meeting, a Q&A session was organised with the manager of the Civic Function Suite, taking place in the main hall on the 26th of November 2024. The group were provided with a tour of the building and were able to ask questions regarding the scoping paper to gain an understanding of the current provisions of the venue and any issues they are currently facing. The Scrutiny Support Officer during this time has uploaded information onto the member intranet relating to the scoping paper questions to assist committee members in their role to scrutinise. The committee will now need to meet and discuss their findings so far to commence producing a report to Cabinet later this year. There are also future reviews on the committee's programme for this year, including the cost effectiveness of CCTV, amongst others. And I'll hand back to you, Chair.
Thank you very much indeed, Sean. I now move to item 8, public executive decision records. A public executive decision has been circulated with the agenda. Does anyone have?
Chair, sorry. The Scrutiny Review Programme Update. I did, if you recall, raise with you in October about discretionary rates, and I wrote to you prior to this meeting about having to discuss that as a particular item, and you said I'd like to discuss that as part of the scrutiny reviews, if I may, please, Chair.
Yeah, I think we could take that at the other section after this formal one.
I'd like it as a public meeting, because I've been asked by groups of why we do, and I'd like to at least make sure that I am seen to be representing their interests of doing that. And I would like, Chair, if I may, this is a document.
Sorry, what documents are you passing around?
This is
thank you.
If I just may, and I'll then explain it to you, Chair, if I may. Sorry, Chair.
Yeah, no, I'm slightly confused that you'll bring this up at this point in time.
Well, Chair, I thought I was following due process by prior to a week before asking to raise an item on the agenda, and I did. I raised it. I wrote to you in October asking about this, and you said bring it up at the next meeting. That was October. November, I raised it with the Section 151 officer. I said I'm likely to raise this, and he didn't raise any concerns about it. That was November. December, the 151 officer said we're too busy. January, I'm told we're too busy. Here I've got some information that the 151 officer gave me a year ago that says we are not looking after our smaller groups, and I just would like this is a particular topic to discuss. I just don't feel I'm being heard on this particular item, Chair.
Councillor, as you're well aware, you are being heard. You've had a formal response from me, and I was going to take it in the second part of the agenda, so I'm going to take it in the second part, if you don't mind. Thank you.
Chair, may I ask why it is considered private to discuss discretionary rates? Not the individual items, the process and what we're doing. Why is it considered a private item?
No, I think you've misunderstood.
I apologise.
It's not in the private section. It is after that where we review the civic. That's where I was going to bring it up. As you will recall, I'm sure, that we're going to be reviewing the civic centre and where we've identified the tasks that each councillor was going to do. We're going to review those.
All right, my apologies. I thought, so long as it's in this bit before we go into...
Yeah, I would also like...
Thank you very much. I apologise.
Yeah, I would also like you to... I mean, when you say that officers have refused and have been too busy, I think we need to be careful with our language.
I did ask...
Thank you.
And they did say that, Chair. And it's in writing.
Yeah, I think, but it's how it's brought over. Now, clearly, prior to Christmas, as we all know, we're all very busy. And at this stage, as you're well aware, that also we're in the full
I am more than happy to discuss it at the appropriate time in the agenda.
Sorry.
But I'm
sorry, I hadn't quite...
on that particular point. Thank you.
Sorry, Councillor Sankey, I hadn't finished speaking, and you were speaking over me. So let's, if we can do it, this... So, all I'm saying is let's be careful with our language. Thank you. Right, if we can now move on with the agenda. As I say, public executive decision records, they've been circulated. Does anyone have any questions on these? No? Great. Item 9, date of the next meeting is Wednesday, 9th of April, 2025. And just like to confirm that date. Item 10, Q2 Performance Report 24-25 Corporate Plan. And now I invite Sean to provide a performance report update on the corporate plan for Q2.
Thank you, Chair. So this is the Q2 Performance Report looking at the Council's progress towards achieving its corporate priorities between July and September of 24-25, along with the latest updates on the leisure contract and the Towns Fund programme. Beginning with the corporate plan, each target has been graded using red, amber and green ratings depending on the progress of each individual indicator. Of the 91 live targets, this equates to 86.81% green, 6.59% amber and 6.59% in red. You'll notice that the Council has fallen behind the Q1 performance, which followed a good start to the year, but remains strong across the Towns Fund and Leisure contract. The tables on pages 7 and 8 of the covering report show further detail on how those percentages break down across each corporate priority, as well as cabinet portfolios. The red and amber targets are detailed in the tables you can see on pages 9 through 13 of the report, and Appendix 1 includes a detailed overview of all the indicators within the corporate plan. This includes comments to provide further context around the situation with each of those indicators. The table at page 14 contains information regarding a target which is proposed for amendment. The report then goes on to provide information on the performance of the leisure contract, which you will find in section 6 and we will discuss later. That's a summary of the Council's Q2 performance. If there are any questions, I can try and answer them or take them away to the relevant officer. And I'll hand back to you, Chair.
Thank you very much indeed. Please note the appendices 2 and 3 will be considered in the private part of the meeting. So if councillors have any points to discuss on these sections, please raise them in the private part of the meeting. Are there any questions for Sean? No? Okay, thank you. We have 4 items to consider in private, so I will now move that in accordance with section 100A, open bracket, 4 close bracket, of the Local Government Act 1972, the press and public be excluded from the remainder of the meeting, as it's likely, in view of the nature of the business to be transacted or the nature of the proceedings, that there would be disclosed exempt information as defined in the paragraph of Part 1 of Schedule 12A of the Act, indicated in brackets before each item number on the agenda. Do I have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor. I will now go to the vote. All those for? All those against? No against? Unanimously carried. Thank you.